monuments into our pharaonic era, and when those topics are mentioned, our Egyptologist Mr. Bassam Shamaa is always here to answer all our questions. And today we have plenty of topics. We are going to start with the main events which took place recently. Many museums were launched, many pieces of the Egyptian monuments were retrieved, and a lot of other issues. So let me welcome first our dear guest, Mr. Bassam Shamaa. Thank you, sir, for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, sir. Sir, first of all, if you can just walk us through the main events that took place in Egypt recently in light of what Nermeen kindly said.
Well, many positive events happened in the last probably 48 hours, which is great, all happening at the same time. And as we criticize, I'm well known of criticizing negative stuff. We also have to mention and praise some positive stuff as well. Positive things happened, like, for example, the room 44. There is a very interesting room in the Egyptian Museum called in Tahrir Square called room 44. And room 44 is specialized for, if you like, special small museums which takes place for about 2 or 3 weeks, and the retrieved kind of monuments. When you retrieve the monuments from abroad, they show it to the public, and that's pretty nice. The only thing I would add for such positivity is that you would allow, if I will promise the Minister of Antiquities anything, I will promise them to allow the Egyptians to enter such room for free. Why? Because you don't pay to see retrieved monuments. Now, we've got some pictures for the retrieved monuments that we picked up, me and Afef, and pretty interestingly enough, they were good pieces. Now, why did I say good pieces like that? Why did I pause? Because normally when you retrieve, they will give you small...
Yes, our producer is airing.
Excellent. Here we are. We have very beautifully colored coffin. We have amazingly carved steel. We have this model of a boat with the sailors and the oarmen. Pretty amazing, because as you can see, they are individual pieces, and for that to come back all in one piece, that's pretty positive. And we noticed how also some of the colored depicted scenery is there. This is one of the pieces that I really love, because the carving is exquisite and the colors are amazing. Why am I saying that? Because when you retrieve, sometimes you retrieve things which is great and everything, but not with the standard that you are looking for. This is not the head of Nefertiti. This is not the Rosetta Stela from the British Museum. This is not the zodiac sign from the beautiful Louvre Museum, and so on and so forth. This is not Hamd Iono, the only statue for the pyramid
Doctor,
building.
sorry to jump in here, but do you believe that the Ministry of Antiquities is doing its homework in regards of retrieving the stolen monuments and stolen pieces to bring them back to their homeland?
Well, I would give so far 6 to 6.5 out of 10. And if it wasn't for that, for 2 days ago when they opened, I would give it 2.5 out of 10. So yes, that room 44 exhibition is a huge jump and a huge positive stuff. This is not the first one, by the way. This is probably the 5th one that they are showing us. But now we are asking for more, and we are asking for the biggest. Okay, these are beautiful. Every piece of history to me is important. And as we said before, the Egyptian Antiquities Ministry would accept that every 100 years, they will tell you anything which is done 100 years
history.
is yesterday's history. Yesterday's is 1 hour ago is history. So don't tell me this is history and this is not. Anything in the past is history. So yes, we are now, if this is becoming very big and very famous and very popular, and it is, and if it made people who criticize like myself praise for that, so now we are asking, go for the big ones, Ministry of Antiquities.
But there is another Ministry of Foreign Affairs too, sir.
Of course, that's a good choice as well, because they have to work on that. Ambassadors, all our politicians, diplomats. Oh yes, I agree with you. Now, the second event that is pretty amazing, pretty different, is that the opening of a museum of fossils in Wadi Hitan in Al-Fayoum. Now, we know Wadi is an Arabic word for a valley. And Hitan, of course, whales. And we have some of the most ancient whales in the world, and the word ancient here is an understatement, because we are talking millions. Here we are. Now, let us first talk about the building, because the building itself is giving you an impression.
And is it a Hassan Fathy style?
Well, it gives you the two in front ones are taking a little bit. The domed construction is beautiful. Under the dome, this Star Wars track-like
Yeah.
building is a bit out of place, but I'm sure they have an explanation for that. But the inside of it has got the fossils and the bones of some of the most ancient dinosaurs, amazingly enough. And
I myself went there before, and I've seen myself the fossils of, I think, the oldest whale ever, whale with legs.
here you go.
Whale which was walking on the on four.
Tentacle. You would like to call
on
it
four.
tentacles.
I mean, yes, stuff like that. And till the moment there are the fossils or the remaining of those parts in the modern whales, I should say. And I think there they told me it was millions of years ago when those whales were walking outside the water here in Egypt.
What happened in Fayoum and in Wadi Hitan is amazing. Some years ago, they excavated something they called it Basilosaurus isis. Isis, that's what they call it. So Basilosaurus isis was 40 million years of age, so it's a young whale. 40 million years is young, all right? So, because we're talking 90 and 100 million, of course, in original fossils. And they found that Basilosaurus isis had three things which is of interest. One, it had tentacles, which means that this is an important excavation because it is an intermediate link between when it was on four, when the whale was on four, like a dog, right? And when it turned into a whale in the water. One. Two, it had no blowhole.
Yes.
And that's interesting because whales need blowholes because they are going to breathe and then they're going to dive and they're going to breathe and so on. So that means that this kind of dinosaur itself in particular was not spending much time underwater because it doesn't have blowhole.
Or turn from a raptor to a mammal.
So the very spot of history of that whale was so interesting for the experts, and it should be for us as well, because it captured a moment in the very ancient history of dinosaurs. And please, to all our beautiful Egyptians and the world, no humans existed in the days of dinosaurs, please.
Sure.
No, I'll tell you this because most of the movies, like when we were young, we went and watched 10,000 BC and 1 billion years BC, remember Jurassic Park and so on. There were no humans in the days of the humans were in a part of history
era.
And dinosaurs in another era. Now, another thing I would like to say, if we take a look at this, some of the photos inside the museum showing us, as we said, the whales and so on. But there is a colored dinosaur kind of drone that we picked as a picture, maybe we'll look at it, and it is referred to in history as Spinosaurus aegyptiacus. Thank you. The first one.
The first
Spinosaurus aegyptiacus with the big sail on its back, right? And because of the big sail with the tall spikes, they called it Spinosaurus. Dinosaur is two words, right? Meaning terrible.
That one?
That one.
For me, it's
dinosaur means
dinosaur
means a word which means terrible lizard. Lizard. Spinosaurus, this one, you will never believe what they gave it for a name. The world. Spinosaurus aegyptiacus.
The Egyptian dinosaur?
The Egyptian Spinosaurus. And this is for a very good reason. And we should make a statue for it in the museum, a statue. Why? Because the only one of its kind, of its type, was excavated in Egypt. And it went to Germany a long time ago, and it was in a museum in Munich, and the museum was all bombarded in the World War. And this fossil is gone, unfortunately. The only fossil in the world destroyed totally.
Unfortunately.
So, which is very sad. But enough for us to be very proud of the only time. And by the way, the largest dinosaur in history is the Spinosaurus aegyptiacus, bigger than T-Rex, which is always in the movies as the biggest lizard of all.
Yes. Doctor, what do you believe, your comments on because, you know, on the day of the inauguration of the Valley of the Whales, the Minister of Antiquities decided to invite all Egyptians to go to the museums for free. Your comment on this move?
Yes, I would like first to thank them. Yes, probably when we say that on our media, somebody's listening.
Yes.
They made it one day, which is good. This is because of the Day of Archaeologists.
Yes.
That day was the Day of Archaeologists, so they were celebrating and so on.
Yes.
I would believe that would be a good exercise for the ministry to make it for good, to make it 365 days a year for free for the Egyptians. The reason for that is that I'm asking for that for a long time, because when you visit your grandpa, you don't pay him money to go to his house. When you visit your grandma, hello grandma, I came to visit you on Friday. Surprise! Do you give her money to enter? No, you probably take money from her,
yes.
Right? So what happened here is respect how the Egyptians would like to take their kids and go. Nobody's going to pay 30 or 40 Egyptian pounds to go and take your family. The kids will take us to the mall, take us to the, I don't know, fun house, right? No, I would like to attract. And believe it or not, Mr. Minister of Antiquities, the British Museum in London, with the millions of pieces inside it, is for free. Here's a surprise for you. Not for free only for the British, for free for everybody. Nobody pays a ticket to enter the British Museum. The British Museum, which by the way doesn't have anything British in it. Right? Now, the third event that I would like to, third positive thing that we would like to mention is the Museum of the Nile, the River Nile. First of all, one, I love the entrance made out of the same design of the Nubian style. We got some pictures if you like. Two, I love the hieroglyphic sentence, I did not pollute the River Nile, in hieroglyphs and in Arabic and English. So that's number two. Number three, the show inside, here you go. So you are in Aswan, you are in the granite, beautiful pink granite city, you are in the city of history, you are in the roots of the Egyptian history, the Nubian, right? Now, if we can just stop for that main entrance. So positive, positive, negative. What's plastic got to do with it? No plastic, please. Remove all those colored plastics. If it was plastic, it looks like plastic, right? Or whatever material. Not very with it. Not matching with the history of the River Nile.
Not authentic.
Totally, totally. So remove the plastic, don't spoil it. Two, there is a hippopotamus statue that they made, a model. Remove it, totally. And do something with it. Throw it from the 7th floor, if you like. Not what? You are comparing your, please, you are competing with the ancient Egyptian artisan.
No.
No, don't. What? You are playing against the biggest player of the world and in the world. So, so those are the three positive things, with a little bit of advice as well for them to be better and better and better.
Yeah. So congratulations to all Egyptians.
Thank you.
And I do remember this Nile Museum was inaugurated by His Excellency Prime Minister Engineer Sharif Ismail, along with Dr. Hussam Eddin Al-Mughazi, Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation. And by the way, it was used politically, I should say, because also those who were invited were ministers of Foreign Affairs and Water Resources of Sudan, and they were here in Egypt speaking about the so-called Ethiopia's Renaissance Dam. So the Nile of the museum is saying that Egypt always keeping an eye on the Nile, and as you have kindly mentioned, what was written, I did not pollute the Nile water.
Here is because we people in history are not looking to those points, but thank you for directing
whenever
that.
you are an editor-in-chief and you are responsible for the politics in our panorama, you are going to take care of these tiny things. You've promised me that we are going to talk about Akhenaten, but I don't think that we have much time, but would you please, let's start.
Let's take a look at some pictures that we picked.
Okay.
First of all, there is a scene where Akhenaten is seated right in front of his beautiful wife. Nefertiti, because there is nothing called Nefertiti as we mentioned, right? Nefertiti and Nefertari, all those names are modern names. So it's Nefertiti, that's one word, Nefert, beautiful female beauty. Iti arrived, so the beauty. Etet, Iti, here you go, in Arabic and in hieroglyph, very similar. This scene here, this one, please, we'll just stay for a second with this one. Everybody looks at it, the kids, she brought him 6 daughters, beautiful, family-like, first time to see a king and a queen in a family mood. beautiful. Telling us about the social attitude of man and wife when they were in the palace, gorgeous. But when I look at a scene like this, I look differently. I look with a different view, different angle. Look very carefully on the seats that they are seated on with cushions.
Yeah, relaxed.
Right? Very relaxed, right? Because we were kids. He's seated, and his seat is not decorated. See? Look at her seat. Her seat is decorated with the most exquisite, religious, here is the coming one, political connotation design. Why is Nefertiti's seat decorated with political and religious designs and Akhenaten is not? Was this scene trying to tell us that Nefertiti was more important? Here is a new one. More important than the king himself, or else why is she having all that concern and all that important designs? And these are not designs because of it's beautiful or it is a beautiful artistic design. No, it's religious and it's political. That's number one. Number two, many people say that Akhenaten, and I know you will be interested in that, was the cradle of monotheism. The one deity, the one God. I totally disagree with that. Totally. And why do I disagree with that? In one sentence, is because in my hand fell a text from the tomb of E, or I, as we wrongly call him. E, his tomb is in Tel al-Amarna, which is the new capital of Egypt made by Akhenaten and his followers when he left Thebes. Right. He's telling us on the tongue of Akhenaten, Akhenaten is saying, one, he mentions more than one deity. So he's not mentioning only one deity in this text. He's mentioning more than one. So no monotheism in this text. Akhenaten is not unifying all the gods or all the deities in one design. One. Two, he is referring to himself as the deity. Those are two texts translated and transliterated by Claire Lalouis, very respectable French Egyptologist. The UNESCO has made her publications, so now, and it was translated by the most beautiful Egyptian man, Maher Gwaigati, so now we know for sure.
Akhenaten?
Akhenaten, his design, his kind of weird looks, maybe he was suffering from something called Florex syndrome, spider-like fingers, a little bit of a protruding tummy, white pelvis, almond eyes, almond-shaped eyes, very elongated face, and an egg-shaped head. Himself, and the 6 daughters, and Nefertiti. So that was not what he was like. That was not how he was like. Why? Because when you go to Tel al-Amarna, which I worked there for years, come and forth from Tel al-Amarna, you notice that the depicted scenery which shows the workers, the peasant farmers, the people who works in the fields.
All the same?
Everybody has got an egg-shaped head. What? All of a sudden, in an overnight, the Egyptian population
were infected with the syndrome? No.
This is some Star Wars business. So the only logic about that is, for years we were thinking that it was an artistic design, quite exaggerated if you like, maybe different, maybe Salvador Dali-like style, maybe revolutionary if you like, because the man was revolutionary, because he stood right in
Surrealism
front
in
of
a way.
the surrealism, if you like. And as somebody mentioned once, a religious revolution would require artistic revolution with it. So that's what explained this business. Now, he ruled for 17 years, Akhenaten. Now, he died. One day afterwards, no scenes with egg-shaped heads, no scenes with big tummies, and we are back to the stylized, muscled, beautiful, clear-cut features, eyes looking towards eternity, square shoulders, the works of the ancient Egyptians. What? The Egyptians all of a sudden decided, oh, we don't like our egg-shaped heads, we go back to the normal.
In your own opinion, sir, the sun was not the symbol of one god for Akhenaten?
No.
It was not.
No.
Even it was not, I mean, he had in mind that there is only one God, but this God can be symbolized in many symbols.
And so did other kings, yes.
And this was Aton. Aton means sun. And why Amenhotep the fourth or Amenhotep al-Raba changed his name from this Amenhotep to Akhenaten?
Good question. Number one, very quickly. Number one, Akhenaten or Akhenaton was not the only king who mentioned, "Oh, you God, you are the one, I know you." Because that was mentioned by many other people in other kings in other texts. But very fastly and quickly, they would go back in mentioning number of deities to the point that a historian mentioned over 2,000 deities in ancient Egypt. That's number one. So this business of unity of one deity, yes, they mentioned, "Oh, you God one," but then in the other texts, they will say, "Oh, you God one" as well. So who is the one? There are many ones, if you like, number one. Number two, Akhenaten himself mentions more than one deity, three. One of his best people
One deity or many symbols of the same deity?
No, because Eten is the power which is coming from beyond the solar disk.
Okay.
Ra, Iman, Hor-Akhti, all those are the designs that you are looking for or you're asking for, right? Now, many designs, many deities. Now, in Tel al-Amarna itself, which is totally against Iman Ra of Karnak temples, the most beautiful tomb is that of Mary Ra. In Tel al-Amarna, one of the best friends of Akhenaten was Mary. Mary is a hieroglyphic word for beloved. Ra, Ra who's against Eten. So how come? So the beloved of Ra, you are working with a God, the beloved of Ra. So what is the unity in that? We have Ra, we have Hor-Akhti, we have a king who's calling himself, "I am the deity, I am Eten." He said that. He said, "I am Eten, but my majesty Eten." So he's referring to himself as Claire Larwit is telling us. So the texts for sure is telling us Egyptians knew the concept of the deity, yes. Yes, they would give the deity the oneness. Like, for example, you are talking about a football player or something. "Oh, you are the one," but there are 11 in the team, but you are the one. Or in the middle of all historians, "Oh, you are the best." So in this particular era, the best, which was by the priests and the high priests, was Eten. Because the king wanted to change his name, and he did. Amen. Hetep, Amen. We have Ammon in it. So, "Oh no, I don't like Ammon now. I don't like Amen." And finally, I will tell you, look at all kings in ancient Egypt. You will find Khufu, Kha'if Ra, Menka Ra, Nefer-Irka Ra, Sahu Ra. All of a sudden, in some royal families very close to each other, Ra was the big god. Now, go to another place and you will find Amenhotep the first, Amenhotep the second. So now Amen is the number one. Then go to another family, Jehotimus taught Moses. Jehotimus the first. Jehuti was the one to be up. So every now and then, priests who are manipulating the Muppets, but not in the scene, they will promote for a certain
I have so many questions regarding this, but next Saturday, inshallah, we're going to continue with what we have started.
Because I believe neither we nor the viewers would have enough from this very interesting information that you bring about. Dr. Bassam Shamaa, the prominent Egyptologist, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
And dear viewers, a short break and we'll be back to resume the remaining segments of The Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International.